One more new video. In the yesterday's lecture we had learned about the problem solving in the solid state. So with this we have completed with the solid state chapter. Now we move further for the next chapter, that is the solution and colligative properties, right? So in this particular chapter we are going to learn different aspects about the solutions and the solutions what we use in our chemistry lab, right? So let's come here, let's begin with the chapter solution. In this chapter, before beginning with the chapter, I would like to introduce you to the chapter and then we will go for the particular concept. Okay. Now in this particular chapter, the weightage of chapter is 4 to 6 marks. Remember my dear student, the chapter for the weightage is 4 to 6 marks. It is a maximum marks is 6 and minimum marks are 4 in the board exam, right? Then in this particular chapter, it is a numerical based chapter, right? So this is very important. It is a numerical based chapter. In this particular chapter, numericals can be asked on the colligative properties, that is the freezing point of depression, boiling point of elevation, as well as 1 or 2 mark problem can be asked, that is calculate the molarity, calculate the molality and calculate the normality, right? So I hope that you have understand what kind of a numericals can be asked from this chapter, but it is a numerical based chapter. Then it is a very important chapter for CET exam, right? So my dear student, as it is a very highly conceptual based chapter, it becomes a very important for your CET exam, right? I hope that you have understood this. Okay, now let's move further. Let me tell you one more thing, that this particular chapter is also interlinked with the ionic equilibrium chapter, right? So if you understand the solution chapter, you will understand the ionic equilibrium, and if you understand the ionic equilibrium, you will understand the particular solution chapter, right? So both the chapters are interlinked. So after finishing this chapter, we will be going for that particular ionic equilibrium chapter. Okay, now let's come here. In this particular chapter, we are going to learn about the 4 critical scientists. 4 critical scientists who have worked on the colligative properties. So what are those 4 critical scientists? Number 1 is the Raoult. Number 2, Van 't Hoff. Number 3, Beckmann. And number 4, Nollet, right? So you all should remember this. These are the scientists who have worked for the colligative properties. Whenever you begin with the chapter, you should know that which all scientists have made the contribution for the particular concept, right? Okay, now let's move further. In this particular chapter, it is divided into 2 parts, that is solution and colligative properties. Right? So we are going to learn both the parts. First we will see the part of a solution, right? What are the colligative properties? Colligative properties are boiling point elevation, freezing point depression, osmotic pressure, right? So these are all the colligative properties. And then we'll come for the solution. In the solution particular part, we are going to see what is solution. What is solution, right? So what is the solution? See, in your chemistry lab, you have prepared many number of solutions in the 11th standard, right? So solution is very important. Why solution is important? You should be able to prepare the solutions in the chemistry lab, right? So that solutions can be of a concentration 1 normal, 1 molar, 0.1 normal, 0.2 normal, right? Or it may be 0.1, 0.2 normal or 0.1 molar, right? So this particular concentration solutions are nothing but the solutions which are used in our chemistry lab, right? And for this you should know the concept of solution and you should know the concept of mole. See, until and unless you understand the concept of mole and until and unless you understand the concept of solution, you will not understand how to prepare the particular concentration solution, right? Right? I hope that you have understood. Okay, now let's understand clearly that what is exactly solution, right? Now what is a solution? See, we in our day-to-day life, we come across the solution or we use number of solutions, but we don't know. For example, I can take a milk, right? Milk is a solution. Why milk is a solution? From a milk we can prepare the number of byproducts, right? For example, from milk we can prepare the buttermilk. That means milk contains two or more components, right? So whenever there is a presence of a two or more components, we say that it is a solution. Then we can take an example of a tea. Tea is also made by the two or more components. We take a water, milk and a tea powder, right? So this is how the tea is prepared. Tea is also a solution. Then we can take an example of a air. Air is also a mixture of a gases, right? So it is also a solution. So let me tell you, my dear students, that the liquid substance is not only a solution. A solution can be a solid or it can be gaseous also, and it is not necessary that it will contain only two components, but it may contain more than two components. So we can say the definition of the solution is mixture of two or more components. Two or more components is called as solution, right? See, this is a very simple meaning. Mixture of a two or more components is said to be the solution, right? I hope that you have understood this now. Okay, now let's move further. This particular solution is divided into two phases. Number one, solute phase and solvent phase, right? Solute phase and solvent phase. So what is a solute phase and solvent phase? Since your childhood days, since your 8th, 9th standard, you have learned what is the solute and what is the solvent, right? So what is the solute? Solute is always present in a smaller part. Solvent is always present in a larger part or a larger quantity. Now, what is exactly solute? A solute is a substance that gets dissolved in the solvent, right? So this is what is called as the solute. Solute is a substance that gets dissolved in the solvent. Now what is the solvent? Solvent is a substance that dissolves solid, liquid and gaseous solute, right? So here you can understand both the meanings. What is the solute? Solute is a substance that gets dissolved in the solvent, and solvent is a substance that dissolves the solid, liquid and gaseous solute, right? So in short we can say solvent ऐसा substance है जिसमें जो कि solute को dissolve करता है और solute ऐसा substance है जो कि solvent में dissolve होता है. So this is very simple meaning of this particular. Now what can be an example given? Salt plus water is the best example of this. We all know how to prepare the salt plus water solution. In this case, salt will act as the solute and water will act as the solvent, right? This will be taken always in a smaller quantity and this will be taken in a larger quantity. Now I hope that you have understood what is the solute and the solvent, right? So there are two phases present in the solution, that is the solute phase and the solvent phase. Okay, now further classification we will see based on the size of the solute particles. Based on the size of solute particles, we can classify them into three types. based on the size of a solute particles, they can be classified into three types, that is colloidal solution, then true solutions, and then third one will be coarse mixture solution. Right? Colloidal solution, true solution, coarse mixture solution. Now we will understand this, all the three. Now let's look at the colloidal solution. What is colloidal solution? In the colloidal solution, we can see the size of the particle is in between 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Right, the size is in between 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer, or we can write 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter to 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter. Right, so we can say it is always a larger particle. It is a larger particle. Now here in this case, the size of the particle is 1 nanometer, or we can say less than 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter. Right, I hope that you are understanding it. See, this is a very, very small particle. It is a very small particle, or we can say it is a very minute particle which is not naked to our eyes. Right, so that is what is called as the true solution. Now what is the coarse mixture? The coarse mixtures are those in which the size of the particle is greater or more than 1000 nanometer, right? Or we can say it is greater than 10 raised to minus 5 centimeter, right? So this is what is called as the coarse mixture. I hope that you have understood this. Now in this case, this is a very small particle, this is a larger particle, this is also a very big particle, right? Now in this case, example can be milk can be example, ink can be example, paint can be example, right? In this case, the example will be sugar plus water, right? In this case, the example will be sugar plus, we can write sand. Sugar plus sand is the example, right? I hope that you have understood the example also. Milk, ink and paint in the colloidal solution. True solution, sugar plus water, and coarse mixture, sugar plus sand. See, you can see the sugar plus water, when they are added, you cannot see the sugar particles, right? They are not naked to our eyes. That means it is a homogeneous mixture. Remember, it is a homogeneous mixture. Why it is a homogeneous mixture? We'll continue. Why it is a homogeneous mixture? Because in this case we cannot separate the two components. When the two components cannot be separated from each other, we say that it is a homogeneous mixture. Now this is a case of a heterogeneous mixture. It is a case of a heterogeneous mixture, right? I hope that you have understood all the three solutions based on the size of the solute particle: colloidal solution, true solution and coarse solution, right? Now this is very, very important solution as far as our chapter is concerned, right? We are not going to focus much on this, right? I hope that you have understood this. I request all the students to note it down. Okay, now let's move further. Now in this case, you can see that when there are two phases present, two phases means what? Solute plus solvent. Whenever there are two phases, solute plus solvent are present, we say it is a binary mixture. It is a binary mixture. But when there are three phases, we say it is a ternary mixture. It is a ternary mixture. Then when there are 4 phases, we say it is a quaternary mixture. Quaternary mixture. So try to understand, my dear students. See, whenever there are 2 phases, that is solute and solvent, it is said to be a binary mixture. Whenever there are 3 phases, it is said to be a ternary. 4 phases, it is said to be a quaternary. Now remember that we are only going to focus on this particular binary mixtures, right? Our chapter will be totally based on the binary mixtures. Now this particular part is only applicable in the higher classes, right? Especially when you go for the master degree in MSc or in BSc, you'll undergo the practicals of a ternary mixture and the quaternary mixtures, right? So in this case, in this particular chapter, we'll be focusing only binary mixtures. This will not be there into consideration, right? I hope that you have understood this. Okay, now let's understand further solutions. There are 2 more kinds of a solution, that is aqueous solution, last part, and non-aqueous solution. Right, now what is the aqueous solution? What is the aqueous solution? When H2O is used as the solvent, it is said to be an aqueous solution. When H2O is not used as a solvent, it is said to be a non-aqueous solution, right? So example here can be H2O, example here can be benzene, then we can take acetone, right? Then we can take iodine in CCl4, then we can take tincture iodine, right? So there are many examples of a non-aqueous solutions, that is the benzene, acetone, iodine in CCl4, tincture iodine. So what is the difference? The difference is very, very simple. When water is used as the solvent, it is said to be the aqueous solution, and when water is not used as the solvent, it is said to be the non-aqueous solution, right? I hope that you have understood this particular concept of aqueous solution and the non-aqueous solution, right? Examples also you have to note it down. Okay, now we come to the last part of today's chapter, that is the concept of solubility, right? So from your earlier classes, you had learned what is the solubility. Solubility means what? When one substance gets dissolved in the other substance, we say that it is soluble, right? Dissolving means what? Dissolving means the substance is getting dissociated, right? The substance is getting dissociated. For example, we can take NaCl plus H2O. See, NaCl is a solid, H2O is a liquid. Now in this particular case, when you add a NaCl to a H2O, what will happen? It will get dissociated into Na plus and Cl minus, right? So what will happen? The Na plus will be surrounded by OH minus ion and Cl minus will be surrounded by H plus ion, right? So here what we can say, the process in which the solute particle are surrounded by solvent particle is said to be the solubility. Are you understanding it? The solute particle, when surrounded by the solvent particle, it is said to be the solubility, and the process is said to be the process of solvation, right? And what is the process said? The process is said as the solvation process, right? I hope, my dear students, you have understood the basic concepts or the introductory lecture for the chapter solutions. Okay, so in tomorrow's lecture we'll come up with the one more new video with a new concept, right? Thank you.